Welcome back to Weebology. Thanks y'all for coming back to class. I am your juiced up professor, Ricky.
And I'm your other professor, Ethan.
Ooh, the caffeine is flowing today, Ethan. I'm feeling good.
I've been buying like whole bean coffee, grinding it up, and then brewing that.
How dare you say the word bean at me? I'm trying to, not go into a bean relapse.
All right, my bad.
So you're actually going like full bean and grinding it all the way through and just...
Yeah.
Good for you. Is your Keurig getting lonely?
I'm using the Keurig actually. So like I'm
actually cool.
Grinding it up and then putting in like my own, little they call them filter cups, I think.
Wow, dare I say that's sustainable of
they
you, my
don't
dude.
call them that.
very sustainable.
But it's cheaper, I think, than going to Starbucks every day.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that I do that, but
I got a $10 gift card from work just for like a Christmas gift a while back. I just haven't used it, and I went the other day to Starbucks, and
I'll take it.
I used it, but that's the thing. Starbucks is just ungodly expensive for okay coffee. You just go to support your local coffee roasters, okay? That's our lesson for today.
I will say,
okay.
I almost prefer Starbucks to the local coffee roasters because...
Oh, for real?
Here's why.
Okay.
You can get like a normal sized mug of coffee at Starbucks for like, I don't know, $2.50, $3.50,
okay.
Max.
Right.
You go to a local place, it's like $4.50, and it's just like they just got a different bean. Like I don't know. I think it's just a little bit much.
I think your palate's not refined enough to understand the intricacies.
I didn't quite taste the smoky undertones.
Or that it tastes like dynamite or whatever you call firecrackers when we did that coffee tasting.
It tasted like freaking sulfur. It is what it is.
But either way, it's still caffeine, and caffeine gets me hype, Ethan. And speaking of hype, we're talking today about the first half of one of the most hype shows, I would say, on the anime market right now. Ethan, what show are we talking about today?
We are talking about
Haikyuu
season 4,
yes.
part 1.
So we decided we wanted to be current and up to date.
Sorry, just really fast.
How dare you interrupt me?
Well,
I'm juiced up.
Listen,
Ethan.
I put a pause in there, and you acted like I didn't know what we were talking about.
No, I knew you were talking about.
But I just intentionally paused.
Oh no, I understood.
Okay,
I understood the energy.
I'm just making sure everyone at home, like listening and watching, didn't think I was a dummy.
So you're forgetting we just talked about it right before, and you froze is what you're trying to cover. You froze up like
I froze about what?
Frightened child on stage about what we were talking about today.
So this is going to be episode 39, and we've already recorded 40 and 41.
Yes.
And in both of those, I like freeze multiple times, like complete brain fart syndrome. So
luckily, we have the power of time manipulation here on this show, so we can warn the fans before the freezing occurs.
And like, I might edit those out, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you.
We are transparent in the lab. It's what makes us great, Ethan. So, where did we leave off before season 1 got started? We were following the Karasuno High School Black Crows,
right,
with their meteoric rise in volleyball fame. Where did we leave off right before season 4 began?
Yeah, so the last thing we really see in season 3 is Karasuno beating both Aoba Josai and Shiratorizawa,
which was so hype. And did you feel like that you kind of saw that coming? Like that had to happen?
It did, because so like I agree with you, it was a little bit telegraphed, only because like they've invested so much time in these third years, like Asuma and Daiichi, and then the other kid, the
white hair, Sugawara.
Yeah. They've just invested like so much time in not character development, because there's not really it's a weird way of developing characters in this show,
right?
Where it's all like as a team. So that's like what's really cool about that. But like they've just spent a lot of time basically looking at them and like showing like how much they've grown since they were first years, and like how interested in the team and all this stuff they are. So like they've just spent a lot of time on them. So I knew like they had to continue through.
And they've been here for so long without getting their nut, and they got theirs. So you kind of knew that they were going to get theirs,
Yeah.
You gotta go out and get yours. And
what I don't understand is like sometimes the chronology of this is getting like a little bit out of hand for me.
How'd you feel?
So
what'd you figure?
they stayed to play for like another season, right?
I think just to finish out the school year, right?
Yeah, but like now we're past the school year, I want to say.
No, because remember the Japanese curriculum, it goes from like fall all the way, or it goes from like the spring, like early spring is when they end their school year, right? Or at least it's different than it works, I guess, in America.
Yeah, so like are we just basically saying that the spring tournament is like the last possible time that you can play and then you're like graduating and gone?
Yes, if you remember that the debate about the third years continuing in the second half of the school year and therefore the volleyball season was because they were advised by other professors and teachers at their school to not finish out the season and to focus on their academics and their college applications and their testing, you know.
Quick question, how dumb do you think those teachers feel now?
No, yeah, right? If they didn't do that, they wouldn't be big ballers at their school. So
yeah,
dumb they should feel.
I thought that was kind of funny in like the first 3 seasons how that vice principal or whatever was like all pissed at them all the time, and then now he's like leading all the chants, and he's like best. Putting up these large like
he's winning over their hearts.
Yeah,
you know, the hearts and minds of the staff.
So that's pretty sweet. But so this episode we're gonna be talking about the first half of season 4, and so obviously spoilers.
Right, there's no getting around that for sure. But recommend you go watch it. Like it literally is only like 2 hours of footage.
Yeah,
like seriously.
6 episodes so far. This season's only 13 episodes, which really kind of blows. Because I would prefer like the normal 24 that we're getting from these seasons. But right. I mean, I'll take 13 for sure.
So you think they're going to stop? Because the way that it's going to play out from here on out is that they have the spring tournament, and if they make it through the spring tournament, they go to nationals, right? Is that how that works? I think that's how they pick the nationals from the spring tournament. Or is the spring tournament is that nationals? Is that what that is?
I'm pretty sure that is nationals, but I could be wrong.
Because I'm curious where 13, like where are we going to leave off? Like right before the nationals happen? Is it going to like, are we going to get a game or two of the spring tournament? I'm really curious. I think it's obvious that they're trying to split this clear end game into 2 seasons to kind of milk that hype. So I'm kind of really curious to see where they're going to end up, because as of right now,
maybe it would be like the first match or something.
That'd be nice.
I'm just trying to like play out the like number of episodes it generally takes for a match.
Yeah, sometimes 1, sometimes 2. Shit, I mean, there's a whole season for 1.
Maybe they're gonna play the Nekoma cats.
Yes, yeah.
In the first round or something, and then maybe that'll be like, okay, we've passed them.
I think I kind of want it to be, they've seen like they're trying to set it up to be the dumpster rematch, right? Between the Cats and the Crows. So my hope is that when they get to the spring tournament, they both basically have their own, you know, underdog stories.
There's no fucking way.
I think they might. That'd be nice. Okay.
So this season they spent so much time showing us like the junior nationals team, right?
Right.
And so there was like 5 people that Kageyama was like watching now.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's possible Nekoma's going to make it to the finals with Karasuno, and then they're going to battle it out there, because none of their players made it to either the spring national game or to the Shiratorizawa camp.
Cool. Yeah, that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about the camps, because that really kind of kicks off the entire season. When they get back from their...
Actually, I think that was the very last scene of season 3, was they were telling Kageyama, you made the nationals.
I thought it was like episode 1 that they were told that you made the all youth national team, so you get to go to this amazing camp that is taking place in Tokyo. But that's not the only camp that's involved in this season. What else do we got, Ethan?
Yeah, so the old creaky little asshole from Shiratorizawa decides to hold a camp for like basically the most promising first years in the prefecture, right? Yeah, the Miyagi prefecture.
And who gets to go to that one legitimately?
Yeah, so as you know from previous seasons, this coach is really into like power, height, basically just like
all the things he doesn't have.
All into measurables, right? And so he picks Suki, who as you probably remember, played a humongous role in the Shiratorizawa game.
Not to mention he is 190 centimeters tall at the beginning of season 4, which is something basically in the last episode I just watched today, they ran through every one of the starting lineup and their heights, and he was the tallest by far. So that clearly got this crickety old coach's goat. So he was just like, must have this boy. But the thing is, this coach basically picks him by all the things he doesn't have. He is a tiny, tiny dude, and he, I guess, is attracted to weapons of power and height. So this kind of pisses off Shoyo that he didn't get invited to any camp despite being a star player in the final, in basically that entire tournament from season 3. Does he take this lying down, Ethan?
Yeah, so like the first couple of episodes, he's like pretty much torn up about it. He's like in his own little head, and he decides that he's gonna go and infiltrate the All Japan Tokyo.
Literally, yeah, he just straight up big like just balls out and tries to just, I'm gonna show up. But
he's in the store with Suki and whatever the other guy's name is are there.
His lapdog.
Yeah, and they're talking, and they said, well, if you broke into that camp, you'd get arrested.
Yeah, and he freaked
so
out.
he does a little change of plans right there.
Hard pivot.
He's like, oh shit, really? Damn, all right, I won't do that then. And he decides to infiltrate the Shiratorizawa camp.
And he literally just, honest to God, everyone's lining up. He just runs in, just gets off his bike, and boom, he shows up and said, hi, I'm Shoyo, and I want to play. Please. Pretty please. And the coach is like, fuck you, no. Like, how dare you show up?
He's like, I didn't invite you, guy.
So basically, that's kind of where the season is split up. You have the story of Shoyo over here trying to make his way into this camp, and then you have Kageyama over here kind of seeing what the talent is like at a country level for his age group. And I kind of like that the season is split up that way, because this is the first time that they're trying basically having their own growth stories by themselves, maybe aside from training with old man Yuki. Ukai, that's it. And so let's pop over to Shoyo real quick and see how that goes down. So he's basically told, get the fuck out of my camp, dude. And by just being that shonen kind of, happy-go-lucky dude, he somehow manages to stay, but as a ball boy. Ethan, did you like the fact that he never got to actually play? I kind of was hoping that he did get to play,
So I kind of assumed he would, based on like all the other coaches were like, I actually wanted him to be here, that
exactly.
kind of thing. But I think this will prove more fruitful because, and you've already seen it once they return back to their normal teams.
Right.
But basically, I think this did a lot for Shoyo from a humility standpoint. And it's not that he was like cocky or anything previously. He was just so like anxious and ready to play at all times that he didn't ever stop to think about like, think
at all, just the strat of the game.
And like, kind of the dynamics of the teams and stuff like that, right? So that was kind of interesting. And then like also tangentially, Kageyama's having this similar experience in a kind of slightly different way. He's just seeing like how a team of pure uber talented people would all interact rather than having like two standouts and basically everyone playing around them.
Right.
And you see that in the very last episode that we've seen.
Exactly, that he's getting more experience with what it's like to work not in a well-oiled machine, but one of an amazing parts, because he's only really known true success from what we see in the show. In middle school, he was just so above and beyond that he could basically stand out and, help lead his team to victory. But when it comes to playing for the Crows, it only works. They mentioned a number of times that, Shoyo only works because of Kageyama being there. The whole machine needs to work for them to be a threat. Now Kageyama has to basically get all the parts clicking himself as the setter, kind of keeping everybody informed and kind of playing to everyone's style. it's really interesting, and it's a lot more nuanced this season about the growth, and I think it almost has to be. You've gotten these guys come so far, you're not going to get these massive moments of growth anymore, I don't think, but the little things still have the same weight as the old, like, oh my god, the quick attack is now a thing. The ultra fast quick attack. Now it's just like a stutter step or a little bit of different placement here or a different way of thinking, and it makes the show all the more rewarding, and I think that shines more in Shoyo's story than Kageyama's. Kageyama's is more of an individualistic, internal growth about ways of thinking, where Shoyo is truly a matter of seeing the sport from a different perspective, because...
I see that, but I'm also talking like Kageyama is now dealing with exclusively the best in Japan, and so he's seeing like other amazing setters that he can take pieces from. There's not really anyone that they've played so far other than, the great king.
The great king.
Oikawa, that he could really take any, any advice from, essentially. And so being able to watch some of the better players in Japan, not just like in his small prefecture, I think has done a lot for him to see kind of the differences in his play style and everyone else's, and then also the differences in his team's play style and the style that like all the best players in Japan are playing.
Right. And I think it also comes down, that's actually a good point, because there's a moment there in his story where one of the better setters basically calls him a goody two-shoes. Yeah. And this really got under his skin, because
still is
getting under his skin, because he keeps asking everyone what the hell that means. So his journey, while it is seeing what it's like to play around the best of the best in his particular field in volleyball, it's also a journey of what kind of person do I need to be on the court, and it kind of comes to a head when he's basically told, you are kind of a really good guy on the court, but I can't even tell if that's a dig or a compliment. Maybe both, maybe neither. I'm not really sure what that meant for him, and I think he's still trying to explore that too, because I still don't know what that means technically.
I think what it kind of means is he's so distributive. Like he's basically dishing it to everyone, even if they're like not performing.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's where I was kind of taking it, because there were some situations where he would just push the ball to people.
Yeah.
Even though they like weren't playing amazing or whatever, right? And he would always he would feel like Shoyo was his crutch. Like if he ever had like a really tough situation, he'd just throw it over to Hinata and be like, hit the fucking ball, dude.
I think he's starting to see that. And so at the very end of this first half of the season, they do a exhibition match against Data Tech, who are basically known for being the best blockers in basically at a national level. They're saying their block game is so good they could compete nationally just with that blocking. And Kageyama is doing exactly what you just said, pushing it around, because he is assuming, okay, and everyone needs to get a chance, you need to play the whole court, but he's basically starting to catch on that my goody two-shoesness is being influenced by their blocking. I'm not playing to the best level because I'm trying to play with everybody else. Maybe he's got to be a little more selfish about where he puts it, Yeah,
I don't know. So like the Daytech thing, I think we should get to a little bit later, but
sure.
I'm not super a fan of how it's going so far, but we can
Fair enough.
We can talk about it later.
Sure.
Basically, so Shoyo's kind of growth throughout the camp is
my favorite in this entire season.
He's literally the ball boy, right?
Yep.
And he calls Coach Ukai and he apologizes for his like obvious bad actions,
his insolence,
right?
his hubris.
And Ukai says, "Look, you either come home right now or you stay and you be a ball boy." And he's like, "But don't underestimate what it takes to be a ball boy."
And Shoyo there's even an episode 3 is called Hunger, and that's all about Shoyo basically showing that he's still him no matter what position he's playing, even if it is ball boy. So he even has this revelation where he basically is going hang up some jerseys as ball boy, and he gets to see the court from the top down. And then it all starts to click that the court has so much information he had never considered to that point. So now he's starting to use his brain, and it turns out, would you say he's actually kind of a natural at the game of volleyball? Because he starts coaching people later, like efficiently.
Yeah, I think like a natural at volleyball, I don't know. I think what it really shows you is he was so worried about being on the court and playing that even when he wasn't playing, he was just like one track mind. I should be in there, right? And like not necessarily considering the ability he has when he's not on the court to basically get a feel for how everyone was playing. Like, remember in season, I guess it's probably 2 or 3 now, but they continually say Suki is so smart because he's always thinking.
Yes.
Against Shiratorizawa with read block.
Guess
block.
Guess block.
That crazy guy. Mm-hmm. He continually will be reading his movements and stuff like that to try to figure out what he's about to do. Exactly. And like, Shoyo does not have that ability through the first 3.5 seasons, right? And so being able to see the game outside of where he normally sees it, which is like a one-track tunnel mind, I jump, I hit.
Right, and that's all it is.
It's really done a lot for him, like foundationally. Like, so he knows the basics of volleyball, but what he's able to do in this camp is basically pick the brain of as many people as he can to figure out what little advantages they bring to the table to kind of elevate their specific game. So he's able to watch people and how they play personally rather than like a team atmosphere.
Right.
And so that's where he's able to coach people, is he's able to say, okay, this guy does this to basically save on stamina. Hey guy that's gassing yourself every game, why don't you try something like this?
Take it easy, man.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to how much of a sponge Shoyo is. He just kind of takes pieces of everybody when he can look from that angle, to the point where he basically says, okay, I'm a ball boy, let's just practice receiving now. And he kind of mixes his natural athleticism, because he was an awful receiver. He's just like, okay, I'm going to get a hand on it. It doesn't matter if I'm a ball boy, I'm going to be the best damn ball boy here. And people start looking at him like, did he just catch that spike? That's so weird. And he starts to, I think the coolest thing is that every time he's on the court being a ball boy, crickety old coach is actually looking at him like, shit, this guy's like really, really good. Like, he's actually acknowledging him kind of silently.
I almost feel like this was the coach's plan the whole time, because
I don't know. Maybe when he showed up, that's the plan, but he never expected him to actually show up.
No, I think he did, because
did he really?
Okay. Well, maybe not in the beginning, but after he knows he's there, he basically knows this kid is going to do whatever he can to do something here.
Because the ball boy was his initial suggestion.
Right, yeah. But I think they talk with the other coaches, and at some point he says something similar to like, being a ball boy isn't exactly easy, and like he kind of alludes to the fact that he's going to learn stuff. So like, what I like about it is Shoyo is kind of taking the role of a coach, right? And analyzing players, analyzing how he can use them, rather than, being an old coach that's sitting on the bench.
Yeah. But
I think it's cool because he's kind of mirroring the coach in a lot of ways in this kind of semi-arc we're talking about, where he's actually seeing everyone's strength and trying to figure out how to like put the pieces together. So I think it's like very, very interesting from that perspective, because like, he has never been a thinker at all, right? And so he's like, what is really cool is he's like, slowly throughout that little camp, he keeps thinking like, ooh, I can't wait to go change the jerseys up on the top row so I can see like a different aspect to the game.
It's cool that he also does like, he also has these moments of like, when he's off the court and just being a ball boy, tries to predict how the play is going to play out. And he gets pissed when he's wrong, but then he starts to get it more and more right. Like, he sees the angle of the hand and when the spiker jumps and who's blocking where. He's like, okay, this is going to go down the line, or this is going to be cross court. Oh, but he's too far back, so I don't think he's going to be able to receive this. Cross, no receive, I'm right. And he starts to actually, like you said, wow, if I actually think about this, I can kind of get ahead and be able to use my athleticism to enact the plays. And I think one of the coolest moments for me on his side is when he learns about split stepping. And it's basically anyone who's ever played like volleyball or tennis. I know me and Ethan have dabbled in tennis in the past. Split stepping is basically when at the moment of ball impact of the opponent, or when it comes to volleyball, I guess at the moment of passing it back over the net, you take a quick step, you center yourself, and you're ready. You basically get into a more ready position. And for me, I've always found it to be more of a focusing click, like a jolt to the body, like, okay, it's my turn now. The way they show it in the show is so cool, and that just kind of elevates some of the best parts of sports anime, taking these little tiny techniques that are almost second nature to anyone who plays at a more competitive level and makes it an entire 6-minute episode shonen growth moment. And that was I was super cool, but like that, because that's something I didn't even really think that heavily about. And it comes down to Shoyo is so instinctual, he can't get the timing of his split step down because he never even considered the idea of it. So, he's amassing these little things and he's coming back to the team a more robust player. I want to see him in this date tech game receive a ball really well. I'm excited I'm waiting for that moment.
And I think he has Nishinoya's raw athleticism.
Yeah, for sure.
So to me, there's really no reason he shouldn't be able to start putting some of those pieces into his game, specifically when he's in the back row, being a good, receiver, being able to be there for the ball. You don't have to perfectly receive it every time.
Yeah.
And you see that from Ushiwaka, right?
Right.
He just hits it up. He's not there to basically make a hero receive or anything like that. He's just there to get a hand on the ball,
get the job done,
and make sure that the ball stays in the air. So that's what's really cool. I like that. Basically, in the earlier points of that first year tournament or camp.
Yeah.
So we don't really get to see a lot of the All Japan camp, which I thought was a little poo-poo.
I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah, because that's all the people they're going to play in the next level. So I don't really understand why they didn't really focus on that. But just quickly, the Shiratorizawa camp, they basically, the third years or the leaving seniors, if you want to call it that, of that team come back and play the first years and just continually wax those boys. Mm-hmm. But what's cool is Shoyo is acknowledged very, very quickly by those players and saying wait, he's not playing.
Yeah, that was actually a cool point. They're oh, we finally get to play you again. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
No, he's ball boy. The fuck did you just say?
Right. And so I know it's kind of supposed to be a kind of casting doubt or whatever upon him, but it's more everyone is acknowledging that okay, if anyone here should really be in this camp, it's probably him.
That kind of, to me, it made me click that this is also one brilliant writing. It's a journey for the coach. 100%. This is basically everyone around him is acknowledging Shoyo as a player worthy of being on the court with all this height and power, and he's the only one who's being resistant to that opinion because he even mentions it, the things we lack makes us unable to beat power and height. So he not only resonates with Shoyo, he is stuck in a one-track mind as well as I can't compete with that, therefore I'm going to amass that on a team.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I think Shoyo plays in this camp, he doesn't get anywhere near as good as he will from it.
I agree. I have to agree.
Because I think it is important for him to learn that he's got to chill the F out sometimes. And I think that's kind of what Takeda, not so much, but Ukai and also the, short coach were trying to teach him is you're so freaking eager. You don't ever stop to think about anything. And you never really, you have learned fundamentals of the game as it pertains to you, but you do not know the fundamentals of the game as it pertains to everyone else.
To the game itself at large, yeah.
And so I think that's going to be absolutely the most important things that he's learned from this camp.
I agree. I honest to God can't tell if Tiny Coach, if this was all an intentional move or it's more of you can learn. He's not saying that you can't learn when you're a ball boy. I just don't think he was ever going to expect Shoyo to grow as much as he did as ball boy. Because I think it would be really cool to see by the end of this season or by the end of the show as a whole that this coach has a character arc too, that his dismissal of Shoyo and kind of putting him in positions where he may learn from a different angle, but his growth rate is going to be so exponential that he never thought someone without the height and power could rise to the heights that Shoyo can. I would love to see that the coach basically is I'm wrong. My philosophy in height and power is wrong. Things can change, Well,
I mean, I'm pretty certain he's going to show up at the tournament and watch them.
For sure,
and then you're gonna hear some inner monologue or something like that, or he's going to be talking to a fan.
He's going to we're going to see some sick backstory, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's going to happen, or hopefully Ukai goes with him. and they just sit in the stands and they chat back and forth.
They riff. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So that would be interesting. But yeah, I agree. I think he definitely couldn't have imagined. Like, he obviously thought of it as a punishment. Like, you came to my camp without my, so I agree. But I do think, there
are things to be learned.
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
definitely things to be learned. And I think it's going to obviously show a lot. Now, the All Japan Juniors camp,
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We barely see anything, right?
That was a little distressing. It would have been really cool to see more of the other players. We did get to see probably the person with my favorite character design in this season so far, Hoshiyumi. Basically, someone who is just as short, if not a little shorter than Shoyo, but man, that boy's got hops. He even looks like he looks like a bird. Yeah. He looks like a bird. His hair looks like feathers. His eyes look like bird eyes. He looks like a bird, and there's no getting around it. Which, one, I love that they're going with this whole bird motif thing, but it also speaks to his character that Kageyama sees someone else has the same kind of athleticism as Shoyo with the height. And
his hair's as white as a green apple.
His hair's as white as a green apple. Who said that? Was that who? Did somebody say that?
No.
Oh, I thought someone was making stupid comparisons in that show.
That's a Jake and Amir thing.
I forgot about that. But no, it's really interesting to see. I can't tell Kageyama's thought process about seeing him. Right? Is it that someone else besides Shoyo exists? It's basically I get to train with somebody like Shoyo as a comparative measure. I'm curious what he thinks about this guy.
Well, so it was pretty clear that Hozumi or whatever his name is
was like Hoshiyumi. I think.
Yeah, was like really pissed that he didn't like freak out.
Oh, that was right. He's got the fieriness of Shoyo, which is cool.
Right, but the thing that's crazy is like this isn't really all that different to what Shoyo does, right? And so it's like. Yeah, I have a person on my team that does the same shit you do, right? Like maybe not quite as insane high jump, but just like raw, disgusting athleticism. And then, once again, just to bring it back to like Haikyuu in general, the eyes, man.
The eyes.
Like Hoshizumi has those like kind of bird eyes similar to Shoyo, especially in this season.
Yes.
He's really showing like observing rather than just like tunneling in. I think that's kind of an interesting distinction that they made, even though it's kind of the same kind of the eyes are portrayed in the same way, but it's obviously meant to show something different.
I think his character adds something new to the story I didn't consider up until right about now, is that the Kageyama Shoyo combo made them special amongst teams. Now, if someone out there exists like Shoyo, that no longer makes their combination truly unique anymore. He broadens his perspective that now someone else has a person like Shoyo, so a good enough setter could provide an ultra-fast quick attack combo, at least give that tool in their toolbox to another team. I would love to see the matchup of those two teams and see who can use that springy little kid and brilliant genius setter combo better. That would be an interesting
it's
combo.
Going to happen, I think, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because they've really, like, basically when they come back to school after both the camps end, obviously Kageyama and Shoyo are the first ones to school, like always.
They want to beat the shit out of each other, of course.
And they instantly try to race up to the club room. Yep. But then he tells them, like, look, there's other people I've seen out there that are your height and jump higher than you. He's like, you have more you can do.
Yeah, it's clear that it's possible.
Shoyo takes it as a dig, but it's actually like, dude, I really believe you can do more. And I like, that was such a great moment for me, because I'm like, finally, he's not being such like an asshole, like putting him down constantly, even though Shoyo takes it as putting down because it's all he's ever been given.
Right.
But I think it shows a little bit more for like now that Kageyama has been exposed to like all this talent, he's like, okay, I know you have this in you, and like I want you to achieve it. And so that after that first day practice or whatever, they start talking about jump on the balls of your feet rather than
which. We were talking right before, blew my mind that Shoyo, the most athletic dude, like didn't consider to jump on the ball of your feet when you jump. what? Like, what are you?
Well, I think it comes down to like him being so freaking anxious all the time, right?
So he never stopped to think of how to even jump.
He's
even
always moving and jumping at the same time rather than getting like a full spring.
They teased us real mean with that Sakuga dude. That one scene where Kageyama and Shoyo are basically just like practicing spikes on their own, and they basically just no, you're basically just kind of springing again. No, hit the floor, plant, and jump. And basically there's this beautifully animated scene. He looks like he's about to like tear the floor off with his jump, and everyone's like, whoa. And then basically Daiichi is just like, go the fuck home.
You guys need to sleep.
You teased me, Sho. You teased me so bad. So I'm really hyped. I think that's where the date tech game is going at the episode after, where they're basically going to finish out the exhibition match, and I want to see Shoyo jump like a motherfucker, dude. I'm excited to see him just jump over that fucking net. I want to see it happen. So they're learning, man. It's really cool to see everyone kind of get better. The rest of the Crows, I can't tell if they kind of sidelined them for a reason. All they really practiced was serves. Maybe some,
but I think that's going to be massive.
Yeah, of course.
They really struggled on the serve game.
Yeah,
I think it was weird to show the guy who's learning the jump floater has gotten significantly worse.
Yeah, like that's weird,
and
right?
And then Asuma, or whatever his name is, has barely showed Asai. God dang it!
Oh, the man bun dude.
Yeah, Aburame.
Azurama. Man bun extraordinary.
Aburame, and his name's Asai, I think. Man bun. He doesn't seem to have really grown from a serving perspective either.
Yeah.
What I was expecting is an Oikawa level serve.
Yes.
Because all they did for freaking weeks was work on serves. Like,
yeah, it's only been a week, right? Both camps are only a week.
Still, the dude's been sitting there.
If that's all you've been doing to serves, come on, give me something juicy.
So I was really hoping for like some ridiculous serves coming out of our team, and maybe they will, because we really haven't seen them serve yet in this Date Tech match, because they're getting absolutely pummeled by the wall.
Is this what you said earlier about why you weren't a fan of how the Date Tech game is going so far, because you're not seeing that growth from other people as you'd expect?
I think it's crazy as hell they got so good in like the same amount of time as the Crows have been actually like succeeding and going through the tournament.
Yeah, right.
So like how these guys get so ridiculously good,
and Date Tech's blocking is so good.
Yeah, but like Kanagawa was at the camp, so when did he have time to learn this?
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point.
So like I don't get where this like out of nowhere disgusting wall comes from. Like obviously it was going to be good. That was their main butter. Yeah. But like now Kanagawa is going to be great because he's went to the camp. He learned a lot from all these setters and stuff. This is going to be disgusting.
I think that you're right. I think there's a point of like kind of a literal and figurative manufactured new wall for the Crows to jump over. It did feel a little bit shoehorned, kind of logical. It's the team that you knew already had the best blocking. Yeah. It's natural that some of them are gonna, like Aone is gonna get a little better. I like the scene where he's basically about to lock on. No locking on. Don't do it. Don't be a dick. That
was hilarious. But that was like the funniest thing so far. I think
it was pretty funny.
No locking on.
Don't do it. So they do a new strategy basically. I don't think they did this before, right? Where they do a bunch strategy where instead of spreading out your blockers across the whole net, so you have at least one at any point, they do a bunch strategy where they bunch all three in the middle, and then they literally guess read their blocking, and they're so good at doing that they kind of just like there's a chance they'll never have a blocker there, but they're so good that they have at least two anywhere, and they're already massive dudes.
Right.
So yeah, this is an interesting wall that they have to climb over. It's obvious they're gonna do it. I mean, it's only natural, but I
don't know. I think they might lose, to be honest.
Interesting. Because at the end, there was some weird disjunction.
Well, they're struggling to learn if they're just continually wrecking teams. You know what I mean? So I think they probably will lose. And well,
story-wise, this is where we should see the fruits of that growth, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm a little bit distraught over. Okay. They've lost 2 points super fast.
Yeah.
What I was expecting and hoping was, after one of those blocks bounces the ball back, that Shoyo would just be
That's what I was hoping for too.
Like he was
there.
already reading it, right?
Yeah.
Knows the trajectory, and like he was just there.
Exactly.
And so everyone was going to be like,
I wanted to see like Man Bun pull a hard Detroit Smashu and just kick somebody in the face with a ball. That'd have been awesome to see. Like, I think we'll get that. I have high hopes that next episode we'll get all of those things. By the time you guys listen to this, actually, this one's coming out pretty fresh. I don't think this is
coming out tomorrow.
This is the freshest they could have. Like, this is good content, y'all. No, this, I think, so none of us will have seen it yet, but I have high hopes that we will see some serious growth. I'm curious about that whole end scene where Kageyama yelled at, how do you say his name? Rolling Thunder Boy. Ishinoya, basically saying, dude, you're in the way. What? Like, he just got to receive.
Yeah, so I think what it's really going to show is...
Yeah, where's that going to come fruitful?
Yeah, Kageyama has seen the absolute best in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And they're always thinking of the next play.
Yeah.
And so Nishinoya's Rolling Thunder, while it is good...
Oh, he literally rolls the entire, like, width of the court.
He gets in front of his backline hitter, server, or what's it called? Backer.
Like
spikers.
That's a good point. I didn't even
so now he can't run up. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be great in the long haul. And what's funny as hell is everyone just starts laughing. They're like,
oh shit, he just whipped at his own teammate.
Yeah.
But so that'll be interesting. How do you narratively go from there? Well, I feel like that's going to put a little bit of character tension between everyone who didn't experience that true next level play. Maybe like Shoyo kind of did with his vision, and Kageyama with being soaked in talent from all over the country. You know, how will they be able to translate that to bettering the Crows without feeling like dicks, you know? Because
that's absolutely going to be the point of this. Because I think you saw at the end of the All Japan camp, the coaches were talking amongst themselves, and they said, well, I hope they can enjoy playing with their own teams, like now that they've left this camp.
But can they?
Right. And so I think that's a little bit of the tension you're seeing in Kageyama's face, and everyone keeps mentioning it, is like he just played with the best of the best, and someone called him goody two shoes, and so he's got this like internal kind of internal turmoil trying to figure out, first of all, what that means, and then also how do I make my team emulate that, or do I have to conform to my team? And I think that's going to be the big struggle, is does he conform to his team, or does he try to coach up Nishinoya and say, look, Rolling Thunder, great, you got the ball, but I need you to not be in front of all the like backline spikers. I think that's going to be really tough.
I think that's speaking to, if we want to look at the team as a whole, this is another metamorphic moment for them where they can come out of taking this new talent that Kageyama has been exposed to, and he no longer wants a team that's been ragtag getting on by getting on like the Crows have up to this point. They're a well-oiled machine, sure, but they were basically, it did always feel like they were getting by with, you know, working as a unit. Now they have to look ahead. They can't just be next game. It's like next move. We need to be playing in a way that is predictive, allowing others to come in and not just, okay, we got the ball. All right, next ball, let's just get that. No, let's think ahead a little more. So I'm curious to see where the tension goes from here. I think
it's going to be a big part of it, but like I thought it was really odd the scene where Kageyama was basically like a star spiker in the All Japan. I couldn't tell if they were like trying to allude to something like a good setter and a good team can make any spiker look like a star.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what they were trying to say.
I think so, and I think in the same scene, my most interesting thing is the guy that came up to him and said, "Are you sure you want to be a setter? You look like you're having more fun as a spiker. You look like you're having a better time, and your spikes are great." I'd be curious to see how they work that in, because Kageyama has been their star setter, but if they basically move away from him and give like Sugawara, that's it. Basically give him more of the limelight, because the game dramatically changes when he's at the helm of setter. You know, he's got a whole different angle, whole different ball game. I'm curious to see if we can get Kageyama into a spiking role more and get to see him maybe pulling a 1-2 with, I'd like to see maybe like Shoyo set one to him or something like that. Really,
well, I think they've worked on Nishinoya setting, and they've worked on Sugawara setting. Mm-hmm. I think it'll add more to the game if they don't just take out Kageyama when he starts getting uptight, but more like rotate him into a spiking role as well.
That'd be cool.
Because, I mean, they've constantly said, look, he's easily as good as Oikawa. Sorry,
there you go. You're good.
From a spiking perspective,
but in terms of making a team run like a machine, oh no, I got the wrong Oikawa. Oikawa, that's it. He is better at making any team run like a well-oiled machine. That's Kageyama's next step, and I think we're seeing that with him snapping about Rolling Thunder.
I just think like interchangeable parts can only help them, right? And like having the ability to change things up in the middle of a game and freak out the other team is going to be very important.
Because rotation's a huge part of a volleyball strategy. Who can you have up at the net, behind at certain points in your rotation? Having more people be able to do more things allows for a better freedom of that. And everyone's like, wait, did they just stick Kageyama back to start the game? Oh, shit. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what they do with that. So
I think what could be interesting, too, is I didn't see any growth from Hinata's perspective in terms of it being a middle blocker. Mm-hmm. I also didn't see any from Suki from being a middle blocker either.
Really curious about that.
Yeah, they like completely...
He was the one that got to actually go to the camp.
And they don't do anything
and you don't
with
see
him.
anything out of him.
I saw more out of Konegawa.
Yes, yeah. So I like to see... Maybe there's character tension because he's always kind of been at odds with Shoyo's growth. He's always kind of been like, how do we even compete with that kind of hunger? You know, he's never been that. He has finally starting to get a little hungry to get better. But you're right. It's kind of shocking you didn't see anything crazy like that.
So these guys upstairs, they had a party last night. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that or not. If not, I'm probably gonna.
It's because we're master editors.
Yeah, I'm gonna noise gate it out, but. They, I swear to God, had a party where they just moved chairs around their house for 3 freaking hours.
Hey, you never went to a musical chairs party? It's lit, dude.
I just don't understand. Like, pick up the chair. It's just like
pick up the chair,
like across the whole freaking room multiple times. And it was 2 a.m. and they were all screaming and moving chairs. I'm like, how's this happening?
I genuinely think they're playing some weird chair-based drinking game.
They must be.
Oh, that's funny. So. Man, okay, final thoughts on the first half of the season. I think it's going very well. I'm loving the growth of some of our main titular characters. Was a big bummer we didn't get to see the big Tokyo camp more. You know, I would love to see more
and
of
like
that.
Any growth from Suki at all, really.
I would love to have seen more of the serving from the Crows camp. I guess not camp, just general practice. I'd love to see more of. You know, while we're having these main characters go off and maybe sometimes having growth in the game of Suki, not really, how the rest of the team is doing. Because it's kind of now, as fun as it is to watch, they feel disjunct. There's now this big...
like divide.
There's a big divide.
The team.
I want to see that come back, and hopefully the date tech and subsequent episodes will... kind of have this collision and remeshing of all the new stuff. And I think Kageyama is going to lead that charge for sure.
Yeah, what I think is going to happen is they're going to maybe play 2 games. The first game, they're going to get bodied. But you're going to see at the end, they start like gaining.
When they click again,
they start clicking. Yeah. Because like think about it, they haven't played together in a week and a half, 2 weeks at this point.
Exactly.
So it's not really surprising that they're a little bit disjunct.
Yeah.
But like it feels weird from a viewer standpoint. We spent time only with Shoyo, Suki, and Kageyama, and now we had to see like our bud Daiichi come back
out of nowhere, which is still my favorite dude.
And like Kageyama like misses some kind of set to him or like barely misplaces it, and he apologizes, and Daiichi's like, dude, it's cool.
It was great. My theory about the Suki thing is I think Shoyo, we have seen glimpses of Shoyo's perception and observation of the court. He's been watching him very closely for the last week. I think he's going to start coaching Suki on blocking. He can't block, but he sure has watched great blockers over and over do their thing, and he's the one who's been able to use that to predict spikes and stuff. I want to see him coach Suki, and Suki basically kind of swallow his pride a bit, take that and get better from it, you know, kind of overcoming this. Oh, I'm at competition and odds with Shoyo. No, he's my teammate. He's teaching me at this point because he had the privilege of being a ball boy.
Yeah, I wanted guest blocker guy to teach Suki.
That'd be cool. I think he'd be a fucking monster if he got taught that.
Right. So like I was just like a little confused why they specifically brought Suki to the camp. Obviously, he's very tall.
You're right.
But and then they they spent more time on that other guy that he tells, hey, relax, you know, that Shoyo tells to relax than they did Suki.
Right. And I think it's because he was receptive. That's the thing.
But I did so he did reach out to Shoyo and say, hey, come play with us after this.
Yes.
That was really cool because he finally recognized, look, this guy's giving a lot of freaking effort to this.
So let's help him out a little
really
bit.
hard. Let's at least let him hit the dang ball.
Let's let him touch the ball a bit, man. But yeah, really stoked this season. If you haven't picked it up and watched it yet, highly recommend.
Definitely.
It's going really well. It's clear that this is going to be it feels like the second to last season. I would not be surprised if they milk it for a third, but we're coming down to the wire here. This is going to be close to, I think there might be a time skip after the Nationals, and then you get the first and second years moving up and then getting fresh meat. I'd be interested to see that motion, but this is kind of the countdown to Nationals, and y'all want to be on top of this. So
for sure, highly recommend. One last thing I really, really loved.
Sure.
Before the Detect fight, they did a kind of like intros for all the players, and it was just gorgeous.
Yes, it was cool.
The art of what they did, and basically the NBA lineup. You know, oh, this guy is 6'2" and
oh yeah,
yeah, middle blocker.
It was great.
Yeah, so I was just a big fan of that.
Cool. But yeah, thanks y'all for watching. If you want to check us out with your eye and earballs, go to YouTube. Thanks y'all YouTube gang for watching this. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, please. And you'll get sweet videos of our podcast. You want to listen with just your ears and have audio pleasure, go to Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
Okay, Apple Podcasts.
Spotify.
Spotify.
Google Podcasts.
Steamrolling it. Keep going, keep
Stitcher.
going. And?
Pocket Cast.
Ooh. And a couple more?
Castbox.
Yeah. Yeah, hit us up on our email, weebologypod@gmail.com. Drop us suggestions.
Sorry, that was weebologypodcast@gmail.com.
It's weebologypod. Slap the keyboard a couple times @gmail.com. It's just mumblings.
Yeah, so once again, that is weebologypodcast@gmail.com.
Hit us up on our Instagram @weebology.podcast. We got memes on news. We're going to give you memes and news now, which we've been doing for a while, and it's been going pretty cool. We need some more news on there. I think we've been memes. Now we need some more news this coming week. So
yeah, I mean, so recently what happened was Crunchyroll awards came out, and people are livid.
Yes. Well, best girl was Raphtalia, and duh, obviously. Go Shield Hero. Let's go. What else do we have to plug? I mean, that's all of our socials. Just check us out on all our stuff. Drop us lines. Tell us stuff to do. Yeah.
Later this week, we're going to be on Anime Summit.
We are going to do an Anime Summit guest spot. They had graciously invited us on, so thank you very much for having us on.
Thanks, fam.
We won't reveal the topic quite yet, but whenever they release it, go check us out. You'll see us probably in the title or something, so you'll know who we are.
Potentially.
Yeah. So
I think it'll be this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken with their schedule.
Is it Thursday or Tuesday?
Tuesday we are recording. Thursday it will be out.
And that's the tea. Perfect. But y'all have definitely been learnt. This has been Weebology. I'm Ricky.
And I'm Ethan.
And this has been Weebology again. Deuces!
Thanks for coming to class.
Thanks for coming to class. Do you know this Weebology? Did you know?
Just really quick. This is
Weebology.